Paul, was that good enough today?
Obviously not. We arrived not expecting, because that's not what you ever should go into a game, but certainly believing that we got a good chance of winning a game of football. And some basic things today have cost us and let us down. And ultimately it's a very bad result for us.
What are those basic things?
Heading the ball. Didn't win nowhere near enough headers when it mattered. And I wouldn't mind before the game, obviously someone of my stature, shall we say. All I heard was, well, they're not the biggest teams, and yet when it went in our box too many times, we didn't win the first header, or we didn't head it properly, and it's part of the game. And I think it's a little bit of a reality check for some lads, that it is part of the game. And again, said it, you learn a lot more when things aren't going well. You don't want to have to go through that, but we're definitely learning about the group, because after what was obviously a fantastic start for us, we're now into the season, and now some of them are also finding out what it's like to play in front of the fans when they're unhappy with the performance, and can they deal with that. I felt, stood on the touchline today and looking at a couple of players, it was hard work watching one or two today. I thought it was too much for them, and that's, I guess, for me to try and help those players is one thing, but also, just maybe consider if they are going to be able to deal with it.
I'm assuming you're talking about some of your younger, less experienced players there.
Just some players, I would say, John. I don't want to sort of name players. I don't think that's fair or right. The conversations will probably be had next week with one or two. But we, like I said, never bought into this. We are absolutely fantastic, and never said we were. We started the season very well. We're playing some good football. We're having little spells in games, but I feel like saying quite a bit of the few same things. As decision making at times when we're in good areas, as quality. So I don't know whether, I guess, we kind of you peak and then this is more normal, or whether we're going through a difficult spell. At the minute, it certainly looks that way now. Each 4 games is more than obviously a one-off, clearly, and some players do look low on confidence, which disappoints me, because again, that's part of being a footballer. Talk a lot about in between the ears, that then can also affect how you look physically, how you play, the decisions you make. I think we've had quite a lot of occasions where we can play into a striker, we turn it down, or we don't see it. And I think when we're on his game, you see those things a lot clearer. So to me, trying to look at it properly and not just rant and rave, it does look like some have lost confidence.
Earlier in the season, you were going behind and turning games round, but this isn't the case now. I know you scored straight away after the game goal today. Is that just one of those confidence issues, do you think, or is there a bit more to it than trying to dig yourself out of a hole when you go one down?
I think today, when we got equalised quite quickly and then looked like we were sort of on top of the game at times, but I think overall it just looks like not panic, but just like there isn't quite that belief there overall, which again surprised me. I mean, I think it was a block or a save, wasn't quite sure, but it's a fantastic chance. I'd have to look back whether it's a kind of a miss.
Block, I think, from Ryan Taylor, yeah.
Whether he lifts it or could lift it to score. That was a great opportunity. I think we had another one with Will, screwed it across goal. It's not like there's not anything. I'm not saying there's loads, but not anything. But you need to get in those big moments. When you're not playing as well as you would like, obviously they become a lot more important. and just, like I said, clearly disappointed for the travelling fans, for everyone connected to it. But it is very much, it's kind of my role to try and help the players through this stage, and also, like I said, try to assess what I think we are. I said from the start it's a new group, and might say we're into November now, but we said I think there's different learnings at different times. Everyone can be a good player when things are going well, and for some it's maybe the first time that they'll have experienced this, or experienced it at a club like ourselves where there's the expectation, and when teams beat us you can see the celebrations of what it means to them, and beating a big team like Grimsby Town in this league, or the Cup as it was last week. So we have to learn to deal with that. Let's be honest, myself and Chris have been through this numerous times. Some of the players perhaps haven't, and we'll have to learn to deal with it.
So is it not simply a matter, but is it a matter of making better decisions when you're under pressure?
I think some of it is, John, but as I said, ultimately, I think I said last week, defensively I felt like we've looked strong. We haven't given many chances away. We've looked through all the stats and the games, and we haven't given too much away. The defeats have been 1-0 today. Clearly 2 goals, both from a similar sort of route, and we just didn't defend it well enough, and didn't other situations that perhaps didn't lead to a goal, but weren't easy watching, stood on the side.
Is Eric Souza a little bit lucky to stay on the pitch?
I just said perhaps. I didn't. I think, to be fair, the lad's gone flying in here, stood up, nothing was said. Then thought that he was refereeing the game. So I can get there might have been some frustration flying around, but you can't react. You have to keep a cool head. What I didn't really get is the decision in the end. To my mind, I don't know whether I missed it, but I didn't see the linesman flag, and then all of a sudden there's conversation, and then he does get booked, and the throwing comes back about 10 yards further back than to me where the ball had gone out. Didn't think they handled that situation well at all. Whatever they felt the decision should have been.
I know it's only November, but the next game or the next win now is becoming important, isn't it?
Yeah, and we wanted it after the first defeat, and we didn't get it. We got a performance that day, but since then again we haven't looked anywhere close, if we're being totally honest, to how we know we can perform. It's not. I don't think you're always going to get them games anyway where it's pretty, and clearly again today got men behind the ball very quickly, looked to try and hit us on the break, and then when they got up the pitch, the long throws, it causes a problem. We can't. No point hiding from that. That's what was happening. Something that I thought earlier in the season we'd done pretty well, because we know again what type of league is. We're going to play against teams that will utilise that better and have a lot more sort of bigger players, threats, and yeah, certainly if we defend it like that, then we're going to be in trouble.
Paul, thanks very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yes,